You have to hear this major news out of India regarding silver. And if you own silver, if you buy silver, it is critically important that you follow what goes on in India. We're going to cover it in this video. Thank you for joining me here in Ron's Basement. Yes, you know that you're welcome here, and we know that India is a major source of demand for silver throughout the world. Last year alone, they imported almost 300 million ounces. Last week, we got some big news about steps being taken by the Indian government that could affect that demand and could affect the price of silver. So we want to analyze what's going on there and take a look at the big picture for India and silver. It is fascinating. We're going to dive into all that, me and you, right now. We'll have to ask our Indian friends what they think about this big announcement by their government that they are going to raise the tax, the import duty on silver. Do you have any Indian friends? My daughters go to school with several Indian students. I've gotten to know their parents. I have neighbors from India. I've done business with Indians. They are high quality, smart people, very loyal, very family oriented, funny, everything else. So talk to your Indian friends about precious metals. You will be amazed at the difference culturally between us here in the West and in the East in India in terms of how they appreciate and love the metals. But what's this big news? Let me read this to you from Reuters. Okay? Mumbai, February 1st, from Reuters. India raised total taxes on silver imports 15%. The government said in a statement on Wednesday, in an effort to align the duty structure of the metal with gold. And that's the big key here. Previously, the taxes on silver in India were lower than the taxes people were paying on gold. And a lot of people think that's the reason why India bought this astounding amount of silver last year. Last year, they imported 300 million ounces of silver. The whole world produced less than 1 billion ounces, according to the Silver Institute. So India alone brought in like 35% of the world's silver production. It was a major source of demand, a major source of support for the silver price. So what happens now? That's where it could get scary. It's not all butterflies and lollipops and unicorn fart dust here in the basement. This could spell a bit of a headwind developing for the silver price. Should we panic? Let's take a step back and kind of look at the big picture. Yeah, let's say worst case scenario. The demand for silver drops by 50% next year. That would be 150 million less ounces being demanded, being bought on the market by India. That would likely have a much negative effect on the price of silver. But that's probably the worst case scenario, the gloom and doom scenario. In this Reuters article, it even went on to say that the local silver prices jumped by up to 2% after the duty changes took hold. That's not that huge of a price increase from what people were used to paying. Will it take a bite out of demand? Most likely, yes. Were we expecting the demand for silver in India to match even what it was last year anyway? Probably not. And we know there's a ton of other sources, major sources of demand for silver that do continue to grow. The industrial uses, investment demand from other places in the world. And one of my Indian friends once told me a little secret anyway. He said that a lot of the gold and silver that's purchased in India is purchased on the black market, so they don't have to pay taxes anyway. That demand, right, that's not going to be affected at all by some government tax increase. Now, we're not condoning that anybody buy silver or gold on an unofficial market, but the reality is, the truth is, that's a big part of how regular, everyday Indians acquire their precious metals. Correct me if I'm wrong. You can always leave a comment in the comment section below. You know, I put that bell down here so I could ring it when I needed something. I thought Susie would come running down the stairs asking what I need. Like right now, my coffee is almost empty, but that has yet to work. So we're going to use that to indicate school's in session. We're going to learn some fascinating things about India and silver right now. They have a long, I mean long, cultural history of appreciating silver. As a matter of fact, last weekend we were in Kansas City. They have an awesome art museum. I'm not really big on art museums, I'll be honest with you, but it is pretty darn awesome. And we were walking around, and I walk in this room and I see this. I'm going to put the picture up here. It's called Silver Splendor. And it was this throne from a past Indian king, I guess. Two big chairs made out of solid silver. It was awesome. So Indians have loved silver for a long time. One big key thing to remember is how many people are there. 1.4 billion people. That's like what, 4 times the amount of people in the United States of America? Think about that. There's 4 times as many people in India. And those 4 times as many people, they love precious metals. They love gold. They love silver as well. That's a huge source of demand, a robust demand for silver. A lot of that has to do with the fact that they don't trust their local currency as much as we do. They've endured a currency that has lost its value, believe it or not, even much faster than the United States dollar. And don't forget, 1971, when Nixon temporarily, we're still waiting for you to put us back on it, Nixon, temporarily took us off the gold standard. Since then, in the United States, our dollar's lost, some people say 98%, at least 95% of its value. And the rupee has done even worse. So they don't trust their currency. They love their metals on many levels, one of which is as a store of value. What's also interesting is that in India, they'll actually use precious metals to conduct trade. They'll actually use metals to go to the grocery store, to buy things, to buy a new motorbike, whatever it is they may need. They do use the metals directly in trade. We love to talk about silver, and I love to have you, yes, you, the one and only you, here in the basement. Your time's precious. I honor the fact that you're giving me some of your time right now from wherever in the world you are to join me. If you enjoy my content, please subscribe, give the video a thumbs up, leave a comment in the comment section below. Your thoughts matter. My Indian friend once told me that they actually also want the physical metal, like this stuff right here. Does this look familiar? That's real solid silver, 10 ounces. They don't want ETF paper silver. They don't want futures contracts. In India, having the actual physical silver is what people want, physical gold. Do you know that in India they have like 25,000 metric tons of gold? This is not a gold video, but this is very interesting. Indian households, right? Just within the houses in India, there are 25,000 metric tons minimum. How about old Fort Knox, which supposedly here in the United States has 8,000, less than a third of what the Indian households have alone. To say that they appreciate and love precious metals is an understatement. I interrupt this video to tell you a brief personal story. We have a little miracle here at our house. My daughter Lillian just brought this guy down, Red Monkey. He's been gone, lost for the last couple years. The story behind Red Monkey is when she was 2 until she was 4, she took this thing everywhere. He went down every slide in St. Louis, and she just came down with the biggest smile on her face telling me she found Red Monkey. So we're going to leave him sit here today. I don't know. Do you want to hear my personal stuff? You can leave a comment in the comment section below. Back to India and silver. And the silver market has a good friend in the poor rural farmers in India. And there are tens of hundreds of millions of them. Unfortunately, their only option for preserving wealth is physical silver. What else are they going to do? Put their money in their paper currency? That's done nothing but go down in value precipitously over the last few decades. Does that sound familiar? It's super important we pay attention to India when it comes to our friend silver. What do you think? Will this change in the tax code, this increase in the duty to bring silver into the country, will it cause a significant decrease in the demand for silver? We're going to find out in the coming year. But when I look at the big picture, what do you see? Like, to me, it feels like, yes, sure, it can have an impact. But from overall silver demand, I don't know. I think we're safe and we're gonna be okay. Not to mention there's so much more going on in the world that could easily help support the silver price. Move into the area where the demand's decreasing because of India and maybe even have more demand and higher prices. We like that. That's what we want to see. Hey, thanks for joining me here in the basement. You know you're always welcome here. I'm going to look forward to seeing you next time. If you enjoy the content, subscribe, watch another video. Most important, until next time, you be well.